Are you feeling it right now? That restless buzz in your chest? Like your life's trying to tell you something, but you're not quite listening? Maybe it's the way your job makes you want to scream into a pillow by noon, or that random moment when you see someone living a life that lights you up and your stomach flips with this weird mix of envy and hunger. Those aren't just fleeting feelings, they're signs. Big change is coming, and it's banging on your door, yelling, "Wake up." But here's the thing. Most people shove those signs under the rug, call it a bad day, and keep trudging along. Not you. Not today. You're going to learn how to spot these signs, grab them, and let them catapult you into the life you're meant to live. So what's one sign you've noticed lately? Something that keeps nagging at you? Think about it. I'll wait. Let's get raw for a second. You know that moment when you're driving home, exhausted, and out of nowhere your brain screams, "This can't be it." It's not just a bad mood. It's your soul waving a giant red flag, saying you're out of sync with who you're supposed to be. Or maybe it's your body talking, your shoulders are knotted, your jaw's tight, and no amount of caffeine cuts through the fog. That's not just stress. It's your body's way of sounding the alarm. Your gut's churning because it knows something your brain hasn't caught up to yet. Science says your intuition, those butterflies or knots, is your brain processing change faster than you can think. It's like your body's a smoke detector, and the house is already smoldering. Ignore it, and you're letting the fire spread. Think about Sarah, a 34-year-old accountant who was fine on paper, steady job, nice apartment, predictable life. But every Sunday night, her heart raced, her palms sweated, and she felt like she was drowning. She blamed it on work stress, popped a sleeping pill, and powered through. Then one day, she overheard a stranger in a coffee shop talking about quitting their job to travel. Her whole body lit up, tingling, alive, like she'd been shocked awake. That was her sign. She ignored it for months, thinking it was crazy, until the panic attacks got so bad she couldn't breathe. Finally, she listened. She quit her job, started a freelance business, and now she's traveling, thriving, and says she feels like herself for the first time in years. That's what happens when you stop dismissing the signals. Those signals are everywhere if you start paying attention. They're in the way you can't shake that one idea, that one dream, that one person who keeps popping into your head. They're in the so-called coincidences. A job ad that feels like it was written for you, a random conversation that shifts how you see everything. Your life is trying to talk to you, so why are you still hitting snooze? Let's be honest, noticing these signs is terrifying. It means admitting something's gotta change, and change feels like jumping off a cliff with no parachute. But that cliff? It's not a dead end. It's a launch pad. So what's one thing in your life right now that feels off, like it's begging for change? Say it out loud. Right now. Naming it is the first step. Here's where it gets practical, because I'm not here to just hype you up and leave you hanging. You need tools to spot these signs before they turn into a crisis. First, start a trigger journal. Every night, write down one moment from your day that made you feel alive, uneasy, or curious. Maybe it was a pang of jealousy when you saw a friend's new project, or a surge of excitement when you stumbled across an idea. Those moments are clues. Second, check in with your body. Right now, take a deep breath and scan yourself. Where's the tension? Your neck? Your chest? Your body's a truth teller, and it's always talking. Third, track the patterns. If the same thought, person, or opportunity keeps showing up, it's not random. Write it down. Connect the dots. These aren't just exercises, they're your way of tuning into the frequency of change. Let's talk about why this matters. Ignoring these signs doesn't just keep you stuck, it buries you. I heard about a guy named Mike, mid-40s, who spent years in a corporate job he hated. He'd get these gut punches, random moments of clarity, where he'd think I'm meant for more. But he'd brush them off, tell himself he was too old, too broke, too tired. The signs kept coming, sleepless nights, a coworker's sudden resignation that made him jealous, even a dream about starting his own business. He ignored them all. Then his company downsized, and he was out of a job. No warning. That was his wake-up call, but it came at a cost. He started his business anyway, but he wishes he'd listened sooner. The signs were there, but he didn't trust them. Don't be Mike. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Now let's flip it. What happens when you do listen? Think about Tara, a single mom who felt trapped in a dead-end retail job. She kept noticing signs: a customer who raved about her knack for styling, a random article about fashion design that made her heart race, even a recurring dream about owning a boutique. She was scared, but she started small. She took a night class, built a portfolio, and networked like crazy. 2 years later, she's running a small online clothing line, making more than she did in retail, and feels like she's finally living. The signs didn't just show her the path, they gave her the courage to take it. So what's one sign you've been ignoring? Come on, say it, out loud, let's make it real. Here's the deal, these signs aren't always loud, sometimes they're whispers. A quiet nudge when you're scrolling through a book, a fleeting thought when you're washing dishes, but they're always there. Your job is to get curious. Start asking, what's this trying to tell me? When you feel that restlessness, don't numb it with distractions. Sit with it. When you get that random spark of inspiration, don't dismiss it as impractical. Chase it. Your brain's wired to keep you safe, to stick with what's familiar, but safe doesn't mean fulfilled. Safe doesn't mean alive. The signs are your way out of that trap. They're your brain, your body, your life saying, there's more for you. Go get it. Let's break this down even further, because I know some of you are thinking, okay, but how do I know it's a sign and not just a bad day? Fair question. Signs have a pattern. They repeat. They feel different. A bad day makes you grumpy. A sign makes you question. A bad day fades. A sign lingers. Think about the last time you felt a jolt, like when you heard someone's story and thought, that's what I want. Or when you saw an opportunity, and your heart said yes, but your brain said, no way. That's a sign. It's not random, it's your future knocking. So what's one moment like that you've had recently? Speak it. Right now. Naming it makes it real. Here's another tool. The 5-second rule. When you notice a sign, a thought, a feeling, a coincidence, don't overthink it. Count backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act. Write it down, tell someone, Google it, do something. Why? Because your brain loves to talk you out of change. It's got a million excuses: too risky, too hard, too late. Counting backward short-circuits that noise and pushes you to move. Try it. Next time you feel that spark, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, grab a pen and write it down. It's not about having all the answers, it's about trusting the signal enough to take the first step. Let's talk about fear, because that's what's holding you back from listening. You notice the signs, but then your brain kicks in with, what if I fail? What if I'm wrong? Spoiler alert, fear's a liar. It's just your brain trying to keep you in your comfort zone. But comfort zones are where dreams go to die. Think about James, a teacher who kept getting signs he was meant to write a book. He'd wake up with ideas, scribble them down, then shove them in a drawer. Fear told him he wasn't good enough, that no one would read it. But one day he saw a quote that hit him like a lightning bolt. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. He used the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and started writing. 2 years later, his book's published, and he's speaking at events. The signs were there. He just had to stop letting fear drown them out. So how do you deal with fear? You don't wait for it to go away. You act anyway. Fear's like a bully. It backs down when you stand up to it. Next time you notice a sign and feel that panic, try this. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. It's called box breathing, and it calms your nervous system so you can think clearly. Then, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take one tiny step. Send that email. Make that call. Sign up for that class. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to move. What's one tiny step you could take today toward a sign you've noticed? Say it out loud. Let's lock it in. Here's something else to chew on. Signs aren't just about you, they're about the impact you're meant to have. Think about Lisa, a nurse who kept feeling this pull to advocate for better mental health care. She'd notice signs everywhere: patient stories, articles, even a random conversation with a stranger about burnout. She was scared to speak up, worried she'd rock the boat. But those signs kept coming, louder and louder, until she couldn't ignore them. She started a blog, shared her ideas, and now she's leading workshops that are changing lives. The signs weren't just about her career, they were about the people she was meant to help. So what's the bigger impact you're being called to make? Think about it. Who could you help if you listened to those signs? Let's keep it moving with another tool. The coincidence tracker. Get a notebook or use your phone, and every time something feels like a weird coincidence, write it down. That job ad that keeps showing up, that person you keep running into, that idea you can't shake, those are your breadcrumbs. They're leading you somewhere. Review them weekly and you'll start seeing a path. It's not magic. It's your brain connecting dots you didn't even know were there. Try it for a week. What's one coincidence you've noticed lately? Say it, right now. That's your starting point. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What if you're wrong? What if you follow a sign, and it leads nowhere? Here's the truth. There's no such thing as a wrong move when you're listening to your instincts. Every step teaches you something. Think about Alex, who felt a pull to move to a new city. He kept noticing signs, friends mentioning the city, a job posting there, even a song that felt like a nudge. He was terrified, but he took the leap. The job didn't work out, but he met his business partner there, and now they're running a thriving startup. The sign wasn't about the job, it was about the connection. Even mistakes are part of the path. So what's one risk you're scared to take, because it might not pan out? Name it. Let's reframe it as a step, not a dead end. Here's another way to spot signs. Listen to your jealousy. Yeah, I said it. Jealousy's not a bad guy. It's a compass. When you see someone living a life you want, maybe they're traveling, starting a business, or just radiating joy, pay attention. That pang isn't telling you to hate them. It's telling you what you're craving. Use it. Next time you feel that twinge, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, write down what triggered it. Then ask, how can I take one step toward that? Maybe it's signing up for a course, reaching out to someone, or just admitting what you want. Jealousy's a sign, and it's pointing you toward your future. What's one thing you've been jealous of lately? Say it. That's your clue. Let's wrap this up with a story that'll stick with you. Meet Rachel, a 50-year-old mom who thought her life was set. Kids grown, stable job, routine life. But she kept noticing signs, a restlessness she couldn't shake, a recurring dream about painting, even a random art supply ad that felt like a punch. She hadn't painted since high school, but the signs wouldn't quit. She was scared, thought it was too late. But one day, she used the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bought a canvas. She started painting, shared her work, and now she's selling her art and teaching classes. Her life's not perfect, but it's hers. The signs were there, and she listened. So what's your canvas? What's one sign you're ready to act on? Say it, right now. The truth is, these signs are your wake-up call, but they're not the whole story. They're just the spark. The real work starts when you decide to act, to lean into the mess, to trust that these nudges are leading you somewhere bigger. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Take one step, then another. The signs are screaming at you, and they're not going away. So what are you going to do about it? What's one tiny action you can take today to honor those signs? Say it, do it, because big change is coming, and it's waiting for you to show up. You've noticed the signs, haven't you? That restless buzz, those gut punches, the coincidences that keep screaming, change is coming, but now what? You're standing at the edge of something big, and it feels like a storm's brewing, chaotic, messy, and downright terrifying. So what's the one thing holding you back from stepping into that storm? Say it out loud, right now, because here's the truth, that chaos you're feeling, it's not your enemy, it's your ticket to a life that's bigger, bolder and truer to who you are. Stop fighting it. Lean into the mess, because that's where the magic happens. Let's get real. Change doesn't show up with a neat plan and a bow on top. It shows up like a wrecking ball, disrupting your routine, shaking your confidence, making you question everything. Maybe it's a job loss that blindsides you, a relationship that's crumbling, or a sudden urge to uproot your entire life. Your brain's screaming, run, stay safe, because that's what it's wired to do. Your amygdala, that little almond-shaped part of your brain, lights up like a fire alarm when things get uncertain. It's why your palms sweat, your heart races, and you convince yourself to stay put. But staying put, that's just prolonging the inevitable. The chaos is here, and it's not going away until you face it. So what's one chaotic moment you're facing right now? Name it. Let's make it real. Think about Maria, a 42-year-old single mom who got hit with chaos like a freight train. She was a marketing manager climbing the corporate ladder when her company downsized. Poof, job gone. Her savings were thin, her confidence was shot, and she felt like her world was collapsing. The signs had been there for months: restlessness, a nagging desire to do something creative, even a random conversation about teaching. But when the layoff hit, it was pure chaos. She could have panicked, clung to the familiar, and scrambled for another corporate gig. Instead, she leaned into the mess. She took a part-time teaching job, started writing a blog about career transitions, and discovered she loved helping people find their purpose. 2 years later, she's running a coaching business, making more than she did in marketing, and feels alive. The chaos wasn't a curse, it was her catalyst. Here's the thing: chaos feels like the end, but it's really the beginning. Your brain hates it because it craves certainty, but certainty is a trap. It keeps you stuck in a life that's fine, but not yours. So how do you stop fighting the chaos? First, reframe it. Chaos isn't a threat, it's a signal that something new is being born. Next time you feel that panic, whether it's a missed deadline, a fight with your partner, or a sudden urge to change everything, take a deep breath and say, "This is my chance." It's not about ignoring the fear, it's about seeing it as proof you're on the verge of something big. What's one chaotic moment you could reframe right now? Say it out loud. Let's shift how you see it. Let's talk about why we fight chaos in the first place. It's not just fear, it's this myth that change has to be perfect. You tell yourself, "I'll make a move when I'm ready, when the timing's right, when I have all the answers." Newsflash: there's no perfect time. Waiting for ready is like waiting for a unicorn to show up with a roadmap. Life doesn't work that way. Change happens in the mess, in the middle of the storm. Think about David, a 29-year-old who dreamed of starting a bakery. He kept waiting for the right moment: more savings, more experience, more confidence. But the signs kept coming: a friend offering to invest, a vacant storefront he couldn't stop thinking about, even a random baking class that lit him up. The chaos hit when his day job cut his hours. Instead of waiting, he leaned in. He took the class, pitched his idea, and opened a pop-up bakery. It wasn't perfect, but it was his. Now he's got a full-fledged shop and a line out the door. The chaos was his green light, not a red one. So how do you lean in? Here's a tool: create a change anchor. It's something simple: a phrase, a song, a physical object that grounds you when the chaos feels overwhelming. For me, it's a sticky note on my mirror that says, "You've survived every storm so far." When I'm freaking out, I read it, breathe, and keep moving. Pick your anchor. Maybe it's a mantra like, "I'm built for this," or a keychain that reminds you of your goal. Use it when the chaos hits. What's your anchor going to be? Say it right now. That's your lifeline. Here's another tool: map the worst-case scenario. Your brain's telling you, "If I leap, I'll crash and burn." Call its bluff. Grab a pen and write down the absolute worst thing that could happen if you lean into this change. You quit your job and go broke? You move and hate it? You start that business and it flops? Now, next to each one, write one thing you'd do to survive. You'd get a side gig. You'd move back. You'd try again. Seeing it on paper kills the fear, because you realize you're tougher than the worst case. I did this when I was thinking about a big career shift. My worst case was losing my savings. My plan? I'd freelance and crash on a friend's couch. Suddenly the fear wasn't so scary. What's your worst case scenario? Name it. Write it down later. It's not as bad as you think. Let's keep it moving with a story that'll hit home. Meet Aisha, a 37-year-old lawyer who was drowning in chaos. Her marriage was rocky, her workload was crushing her, and she kept having this nagging feeling she was meant to do something else. The signs were there: random articles about nonprofit work, a conversation with a mentor about purpose, even a dream about teaching kids. But when her husband asked for a divorce, the chaos exploded. She could have shut down, clung to her routine, and stayed miserable. Instead, she leaned in. She started volunteering at a youth center, took a course on nonprofit management, and found her passion. The divorce was messy, but it freed her to chase a life that felt true. Now she's running a community program, and says she's never felt stronger. The chaos didn't break her, it built her. Here's a practical step: shrink the chaos. When everything feels like it's falling apart, focus on one tiny action. Just one. If you're overwhelmed by a job you hate, don't try to fix your whole career today. Send one email to a contact. Update one line on your resume. If you're stuck in a relationship that's draining you, don't decide your whole future. Have one honest conversation. Small actions cut through the chaos, like a knife. They remind you you're in control, even when it feels like you're not. What's one tiny action you could take today to face your chaos? Say it out loud. That's your starting line. Let's talk about the science for a second, because your brain's not the bad guy here. It's just doing its job. When chaos hits, your body pumps cortisol, the stress hormone, to keep you alert. That's why you feel jittery, like you're on edge. But here's the cool part. That same stress response can be flipped into excitement. The physical symptoms, racing heart, sweaty palms, are almost identical. So next time you're panicking, tell yourself, this isn't fear, this is me getting ready to crush it. It's called cognitive reappraisal, and it's like hacking your brain. Try it. Next time the chaos hits, say I'm excited, and watch how it shifts your energy. What's one chaotic moment you could reframe as excitement? Name it. Let's flip the script. Here's another tool, the 5-4-3-2-1 rule. You've heard it before, but it's a game changer for chaos. When you're paralyzed, say you just got bad news, or you're staring at a decision that scares you, count backward, 5-4-3-2-1, and move. Call someone. Write down a plan. Take a walk. The countdown interrupts your brain's freak-out mode and pushes you into action. I used this when I was debating a big move. My brain was spinning with what-ifs, but I counted 5-4-3-2-1 and booked a call with a mentor. That call changed everything. Try it. What's one moment you're stuck on right now? Count down and name one action you'll take. Say it. Let's do this. Let's talk about the stories we tell ourselves, because that's where the chaos gets its power. You're telling yourself, I'm not ready, or I can't handle this, or I'm too old/young/broke. Those stories aren't facts, they're habits. And habits can be broken. Think about Carlos, a 50-year-old mechanic who wanted to open a gym. The chaos came when his shop closed, and he was out of work. His story was, I'm too old to start over. But the signs were there, a friend who kept pushing him to train others, a vacant space, perfect for a gym, even a surge of energy when he taught a fitness class. He rewrote his story. Instead of I'm too old, he told himself, I've got experience, and I'm not done yet. He leaned into the chaos, got a loan, and opened his gym. Now he's training dozens of people and living his dream. What's the story you're telling yourself that's keeping you stuck? Say it. Now rewrite it out loud. Here's a tool to make that stick. The power question. Every morning ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to move through this chaos? Write it down. Do it. It's not about fixing everything. It's about building momentum. When I was navigating a tough transition, I asked this every day. One day it was call a friend for advice. Another it was research one option. Those tiny steps added up, and soon I was out of the fog. Try it. What's one thing you can do today to move through your chaos? Say it. That's your mission. Let's keep it real with another story. Meet Priya, a 33-year-old, who was stuck in a toxic relationship. The chaos was constant, arguments, self-doubt, a sinking feeling she was losing herself. The signs were there, a friend's comment about her spark fading, a book about self-worth that hit her hard, even a moment of clarity when she caught herself smiling alone. When her partner walked out, the chaos peaked. She could have chased him, begged for things to stay the same. Instead, she leaned in. She started therapy, joined a writing group, and rediscovered her. Now she's publishing poetry and says the chaos was her wake-up call. The mess didn't destroy her. It set her free. What's one chaotic moment that could set you free if you leaned into it? Name it. Let's see it for what it is. Here's another way to handle chaos. Build a support squad. You don't have to do this alone. Find one person, a friend, a mentor, even a stranger, who gets it, and tell them what you're going through. Share your signs, your fears, your dreams. They'll hold you accountable, cheer you on, and remind you you're not crazy. When I was facing a big change, I called a friend who'd been through it. She didn't sugarcoat it, but she said, You're tougher than this storm. That was enough to keep me going. Who's one person you could reach out to today? Say their name. Text them later. You need a squad. Let's talk about the flip side of chaos. The opportunity. Every storm has a silver lining, but you have to look for it. Think about Emma, a 27-year-old who got dumped by her fiancé. The chaos was brutal. Canceled wedding, broken heart, questions about her worth. But the signs were there: a desire to travel she'd buried, a job offer in another country, even a random conversation about solo adventures. She leaned into the mess. She took the job, moved abroad, and found a confidence she didn't know she had. The chaos of the breakup wasn't the end. It was the start of her real life. What's one opportunity hiding in your chaos? Say it. That's your silver lining. Here's a final tool. Celebrate the wins, no matter how small. Leaning into chaos is hard, so give yourself credit. Sent that scary email? Celebrate. Had that tough conversation? Celebrate. Took one step toward your dream? Celebrate. Write it down, tell a friend, or just say, I did that. It builds momentum and reminds you you're moving forward, even when the storm's raging. I started doing this during a rough patch. Every tiny win went in a notebook. It changed how I saw myself. What's one win you can celebrate today? Say it. Own it. The chaos you're feeling, it's not here to break you. It's here to make you. Those signs you've noticed, the restlessness, the nudges, the coincidences, they're leading you somewhere, but you have to walk through the mess to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take one step, then another, and trust the storm's pushing you towards something bigger. So what's one step you're ready to take today? Say it. Do it, because the chaos is your signal, and it's time to stop fighting it and start owning it.